Boy, the Washington Post dug up some testimony about the Hunter Biden hearings that Jim Jordan held, and I am so excited about these. I am really, really excited about that. See, Jim Jordan on his committee had been trotting out this guy by the name of Gary Shapley. He's an IRS employee. He works in the IRS's Criminal Investigations Division. He's what they call a supervisory special agent. And if you follow me, you understand that. You probably heard this already, but for the folks that haven't, a supervisory special agent, they're nobody. They are nobody. They are the bottom of the barrel when it comes to technically being management. They have no executive authority whatsoever. They are literally, it's a title they give agents that have been around for the longest. They're on-the-job instructors primarily, is what they are. They take baby agents and they put them through the ropes. That's what they do. They do not make charging decisions. They do not make decisions on personnel, who's doing an investigation, who's not doing an investigation, what gets investigated, what does not get investigated. That is not. Think about an assistant manager at Wendy's. They can't hire and fire. They can't anything. All they can do is tell an employee, you should probably put some more hamburgers on the grill. That's what a supervisory special agent is. They are not management. In an office, it is the assistant special agent in charge. That's the bottom rung of executive management. Okay? But this is why it's important. You have Jim Jordan parading this guy around, Gary Shapley, this nobody, this absolute nobody in this investigation, as though he is the end-all be-all of information about what's being done inside the Hunter Biden investigation. And he's making allegations that are way above his pay grade, that he would have no idea. But you don't know that, and the average right-wing voter doesn't know that, because you don't know how these offices are structured. These investigations are structured. To start with, Gary Shapley works for the IRS. The Hunter Biden investigation is run through the FBI. Well, yeah, that's two different agencies. What the heck? Wait for it. The FBI or Treasury or whoever's running an investigation, if they have tax issues in the investigation, they will bring the IRS in. Now, they don't hand the investigation over to the IRS. The investigation is still run at the FBI. Charging, everything is done at the FBI. The IRS helps them out. That's what Gary Shapley was doing. That was where he comes in. He is one subset of an investigation and not the executive that is in charge of it. He's just a guy. The guy that is in charge, a guy by the name of Thomas Sobocinski, he is still with the FBI. And the DOJ did an unprecedented thing that they never do. This guy is still running the Hunter Biden investigation. He still runs the office that investigation is being run out of. His name is Thomas Sobocinski. He came forward and he testified before Jim Jordan's committee. Jim Jordan wants nothing to do with that testimony. Nothing at all, because it buries Gary Shapley. In fact, the only thing that Thomas Sobocinski agreed with, as far as Shapley was concerned, the IRS guy, was that he thought that they could have charged sooner. He'd like to have seen it done faster. He agreed that he's seen investigations that could have been handled faster, but he puts a caveat on the end of it. This is an incredibly high-profile investigation, and he understands that these investigations can be drawn out because everybody's watching. Everybody's looking at every T, every I to make sure they're dotted and crossed. So yeah, these investigations get drawn out. That was the only thing he agreed with this whistleblower, Gary Shapley, who obviously has a political agenda because he's talking about things that are way above his pay grade. Let me explain. The charging decisions and the actual charging and prosecuting is done at the U.S. Attorney's Office. That's a guy by the name of David Weiss. Okay? The investigation is done at the FBI. The top dog that talks from the FBI to the U.S. Attorney's Office, which are two different entities, is Thomas Sobocinski. He talks to David Weiss. They talk about the investigation. Sobocinski, he controls who works on it, Who does the investigation? What angles the investigations take? He's the actual authority within the FBI. Way down here and over here in the subset of the investigation, you got a guy way above Gary Shapley that is coordinating with Thomas Sobocinski. Below this guy over here, way down here, you have Gary Shapley, who's just a guy who's chasing paper on an investigation. He's not in these executive decision-making meetings. No. And he claims that he was at a meeting where David Weiss told him and everybody, well, you know, charging decisions are above his head. Somebody else is making those decisions. David Weiss says that's not true. Gary Sobocinski says that's not true. He has no recollection whatsoever, and everything he's done as the guy running the investigation tells him David Weiss is the man with the plan. He is the U.S. attorney. He's the guy that makes the charging decisions. But Jim Jordan don't want to hear that. No, Jim Jordan has him a little stooge down here that he's parading because he's got a frickin' title. They've got to change that title. Supervisory Special Agent sounds like it's above an ASAC or a SAC. They're not. They're not. They don't. No, they don't. Supervisory Special Agents are the bottom of the barrel, and they do not go directly to U.S. attorneys' offices. They don't. They must go through the executive management. So yeah, this guy's less than nobody. Gary Shapley is nobody. I can't stress that enough. He is nobody. He's like an OJI, an on-the-job instructor. That's it. And the guy that is somebody that really makes these decisions, that really talks to David Weiss, those guys talk. Those guys coordinate. David Weiss says, I need more information before I make this charging decision. It's Thomas Sobocinski that he goes to and says, get me that information. And then Thomas Sobocinski goes down, and if it's something that's out of his agency's purview, like say they want the IRS or Treasury or somebody else or the Postal Inspector General or somebody else to do some digging on it, he coordinates that. The man with the plan says everything Jim Jordan says is crap. Is complete crap. And the DOJ did the unprecedented thing that they never do and allowed an actual investigating special agent to testify in front of this committee about an investigation. And Jim Jordan will not touch it. He will not touch it. And Kevin McCarthy's trying to impeach over this, trying to hold an impeachment inquiry over this, knowing he has got the guy, the man with the plan, Thomas Sobocinski, telling him the truth. And they're just like, well, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that, David Weiss was the man with the plan. We don't want to hear that David Weiss made the decisions. We got to run this narrative that somebody was controlling him. He was manipulated, man. It's crap. It's pure crap. And we've got the testimony to prove it. Kudos to the Washington Post for digging those transcripts up, man. Great journalism, guys. Great journalism. We folks here at the MeidasTouch Network love great journalism. Good job, Washington Post. Good job. Look, folks, we're up to 1.5 million followers. We need your help. Reach down, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button so people can actually hear this. So that when the nonsense comes out, they have already heard the facts. Spread this around, folks. Do it for us. This old Texas Paw. I love you, folks. Thanks for being here.
Hey, Meidas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.